Hello, my lucky learners. Welcome back to Lucky English for Beginners. I am absolutely delighted to have you with me today. Find a comfortable chair, settle into a quiet space, and let the outside world fade away for a while. Today we are going to explore the life of a man who was the first rock star of the literary world. He was handsome, wealthy, scandalous, brilliant, and deeply unhappy. His name was Lord Byron, the rebel poet of the Romantic Age. This is a story about a man who had everything, money, titles, and fame, yet spent his whole life searching for something that money couldn't buy: freedom. It is a story about how your own rebellious spirit, your desire to be different, to speak your mind, and to live your own truth, is a powerful energy that can fuel your English journey. Part 1: The Boy with the Limp and the Fire. Our story begins in 1788. George Gordon Byron, who later became Lord Byron, was born with a physical disability. He had a twisted foot. In the society of that time, people were often cruel to those who were different. As a boy, Byron was told by his own mother that he was lame and ugly. Imagine the pain of a child hearing that from the person who is supposed to love them most. But Byron didn't shrink away. He turned his pain into fire. He learned to swim, he learned to box, and he learned to ride horses better than anyone else. He was determined to show the world that he could be stronger and faster than the people who mocked him. This is the first lesson of Byron. Do not let anyone define what you are capable of. If the world tells you that you cannot do something, use that energy to prove them wrong. Part 2: Fame and the Byronic Hero. When he was 24, he published a poem called Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. He woke up the next morning and discovered he was the most famous man in England. He was rich, he was a member of the House of Lords, and he was the man every woman in London wanted to marry. He created a new type of character called the Byronic Hero. This was a man who was brilliant and powerful, but also lonely, mysterious, and hiding a dark secret. Everyone wanted to be him, but inside, Byron was miserable. He felt that no one truly understood him. He realized that fame was like smoke. It looked exciting, but you couldn't hold on to it. It taught him that public success is very different from private peace. Part 3: Why Lord Byron Matters to You. You might ask, why should I, an English learner, care about a moody poet from the 1800s? That is a wonderful question. Lord Byron is important because he shows us the importance of personality in language. Byron didn't write polite English, he wrote bold English. He wrote with passion, with sarcasm, and with humor. He used the language to challenge the rules. As a learner, I want you to inject your personality into your English. Don't just learn polite phrases. Learn how to tell a joke. Learn how to express your disagreement. Learn how to be funny. When you bring your own rebel spirit, your own unique way of looking at the world, to your English practice, you stop sounding like a textbook and start sounding like a human being. Part 4: The Art of Disagreement. Byron was a rebel because he loved to disagree. He spoke in the House of Lords against unfair laws. He used his poetry to attack people he thought were corrupt. He didn't care if people were angry at him. In your English journey, you are allowed to disagree. You are allowed to express your own opinions. When you practice speaking, choose topics you care about. Talk about the world. Talk about justice, about nature, or about the future. When you speak from your convictions, your English becomes much more natural. It becomes a reflection of your soul. Part 5: The Gift of Wanderlust. Byron spent much of his life traveling across Europe. He lived in Italy, in Greece, and in Switzerland. He realized that the world was far bigger than the small, dusty streets of London. Language is the ultimate form of travel. Every time you learn a new word, you are visiting a new place. Every time you understand a new culture, you are expanding your borders. Don't let your English journey be limited to your classroom. Use your English to explore. Use it to travel to new ideas, new people, and new ways of living. Part 6: The Courage to be Misunderstood. Byron was often misunderstood by his society. He was attacked in the newspapers, and he was eventually forced to leave England because of his choices. It is a lonely thing to be misunderstood. But Byron didn't stop being himself. He knew that the only person he had to live with for the rest of his life was himself. In your English journey, you might worry about sounding weird or wrong. But guess what? You are a language learner. You are supposed to be in the process of becoming. Don't fear being misunderstood. Fear being someone you are not. Part 7: The Beauty of the Plateau. Byron's life had long periods of silence followed by bursts of genius. He didn't write all the time. He lived, he loved, and he suffered. Then he would sit down and write a masterpiece in a few days. Don't feel like you have to be a learning machine 24 hours a day. There will be periods where you feel like you aren't growing. This is your plateau. Just live your life. Watch movies, go for walks, and have conversations. The language will be growing in the background, even when you aren't staring at a textbook. Trust that your life experiences are the fuel for your English. Part 8. The importance of intensity. Byron did everything with intensity. He loved intensely, he wrote intensely, and he played intensely. He didn't know how to do anything halfway. Bring some intensity to your English. When you study, really study. When you listen to a podcast, really listen. Don't just have English playing in the background. Engage with it. When you bring your full energy to your practice, you get 10 times the result. Part 9. The magic of wit. Byron was famous for his wit, his ability to be funny and clever at the same time. Wit is a high level of language ability. It means you understand the rules so well that you can break them to make someone laugh. Try to be witty in English. Try to make a pun. Try to make a funny observation about your day. When you can make someone laugh in your second language, you have officially reached a level of mastery that goes beyond textbooks. Part 10. Your story is still being written. Byron died in Greece at the age of 36, fighting for their independence. He lived a short, loud, and intense life. He didn't leave a finished map of how to live. He left a mess of poems, letters, and scandals. Your English journey is not a finished map either. It is a mess of progress, mistakes, and small wins. That is how it should be. Don't try to make your journey look neat. Make it look like yours. Part 11. The power of self-expression. Byron taught us that poetry is just the overflow of powerful feelings. Language is the same. When you feel happy, say it in English. When you feel sad, say it in English. When you are frustrated, say it in English. When you attach your feelings to the words become yours forever. They move from your brain to your heart. Part 12. You are the main character. In the Byronic hero, the character is the center of the universe. In your English journey, you are the center of the universe. It is all about you. It is about your needs, your desires, and your voice. Don't learn English for someone else. Learn it for the main character of this story, you. Part 13. Finding strength in your limp. Byron turned his physical challenge into a source of strength. What is your limp? What is the thing you are most afraid of in your English journey? Is it your accent? Is it your vocabulary? Is it your fear of speaking? Take that fear and make it your source of strength. Use it to work harder. Use it to be more observant. Your weakness is actually the source of your unique power. Part 14. The legacy of passion. Byron's passion for Greece, for freedom, and for art continues to inspire people today. Your passion for your own growth is what will inspire the people around you. When people see you learning, when they see you working hard, they will be inspired. You are becoming a beacon of light for others. Part 15. Your final mission. My lucky learners, thank you for walking through the stormy, brilliant world of Lord Byron with me today. You are doing something truly special. You are learning to be yourself in a new language, and that is a very brave, very wonderful thing. Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep being lucky. I will be right here, waiting to walk the next mile of the mystery with you. Bye for now. Before you go, I have one question for you. If you were to write a short, rebellious sentence about something you want to change in the world, even if it's a small change, what would you say?